a huge welcome from us. I'm really looking forward to taking you through all about Connect to Work this afternoon. Okay, I think we're about there. There may be more people joining in the next couple of minutes, but welcome everybody. It's really great to see so many employers and partners on the call. We're really grateful for that. Before we begin, I'm just going to go through a couple of housekeeping points with you. Today's session is being recorded, and that's so that we can share the webinar afterwards with yourselves, with partners and employers who weren't able to attend, and to make sure the information is accessible. So just wanted to let you know that, and the recording will also be shared afterwards through our Connect to Work and Essex Opportunities channels as well, and also via our YouTube. There will be a question and answer session at the end of our presentations today, so we really look forward to receiving your questions, and we will get to as many as we can. You can submit questions through the Q&A function, and we look forward to getting to that session with you. My name's Hannah Copel. I'm the Operations Manager for the Connect to Work programme here at Essex County Council, we really want to focus today on our employer offer and how that could work in practice with yourselves. So we really want to give you an understanding of what we have to offer. Next slide, please. So as Councillor Ball was outlining there, Connect to Work is a free supported employment programme led by Essex County Council, but also working in partnership with Southend City Council and Thurrock Council. So we are operating across the whole of Greater Essex. And the design of Connect to Work is to help employers recruit people who may otherwise be overlooked, and therefore reducing the recruitment risk for yourselves, particularly in the early weeks of employment, really to help improve retention, so that employers aren't left to manage things alone, as ongoing support is provided. This is a completely free service to employers. It's funded by the Department for Work and Pensions delivered through Essex County Council and our partners up until 2030, and it is around the ongoing support with qualified employment specialists working with yourselves and candidates. All of our candidates and participants are really motivated to work, they want to work, and it is a great opportunity for yourselves to increase your social responsibility by offering great opportunities to these participants, but also to hire a diverse, local and inclusive, talented workforce. Next slide, please. So thinking about the journey that you might take with us on the Connect to Work programme, it really starts with that early initial engagement, often a conversation, finding out more, and we're going to talk more about that later and how you can do that. Once you register your interest with us as an employer, you would receive a named employment specialist from one of our delivery partners, and we're going to hear more from our delivery partners very shortly as well. It tends to be initial discussions, talking about what's on offer, thinking about your interest and what you would like to put forward, what some of the pressures you might be facing around recruitment and workforce that we can help with, thinking about what roles that you might have available, how those can be shaped to accommodate the candidates so you can get the best out of them, and really matching candidates to your business needs. And as we've said, the support continues after somebody starts work, which is really important and really helps sustain that for everybody. But it is about proportionate support and not forcing that fit, but really creating that, and how we work with you as a business to take that forward. So could you put the next slide up, please? Thank you. the support that we have to offer is around helping you with your inclusive recruitment approaches, which I'm sure we're all really interested in seeing as we've signed up for this webinar. Advice on kind of reasonable adjustments that might help your workforce, supporting with the onboarding process and the first weeks in the role, ongoing support for that candidate and yourselves where needed. And it is about that proportionality, so making it an individual process. Sometimes employers don't need a lot of support, and it works really well. Often sometimes they do value more, but this is about helping you reduce your recruitment costs, which is really expensive and something that we understand can be quite difficult sometimes to manage, improving retention in your workforce and saving managers time so that we can help with people in work as well. So finally, my key message is really to all our employers on the call today, and it's fantastic to have you, is that whether you're recruiting small, whether you've got more than one vacancy or multiple, whether you're small, medium or large employer, you know, we work across all sectors in the labour market. There's no kind of right size of employer that fits with us. We can start off with just engagement, can be communicating with yourselves. It might not be that you have vacancies right now that you would like to put forward, but you know, you want to find out more, you want to support in other ways. We're more than happy to hear from you and chat things through with you. So, and just finally to let you know that we are a large scale program. So we're looking actually to get just under 8,000 people into work by March 2030. So we've got really big ambitions, but we know we need to work with yourselves and the business community and employers and really work together on this important vital agenda around inclusive employment. So thank you all. I'm going to next hand over to, we've got our 3 delivery partners on the call with us this afternoon. So they're each going to talk to you in a little bit more detail about the support that they offer their participants and their employers, to give you a bit more flavour on how that will work. So if I can hand over to Jonathan from Shore Trust, first of all, please. Hi, Jonathan, welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. I'm just going to give a whistle-stop tour on the employer engagement cycle, which comprises of 5 key stages. So number 1, planning and preparation. So researching the company. We need to make sure if we know the participants' skills and strengths align with the role and their employment history, as well as any short-term or long-term aspirational goals. Number 2, opening with impact. So that elevator pitch, saying something that will be of interest to the employer, explaining the role you play in the process and how you intend to add that tangible value to the engagement. Number 3, questioning for needs. So again, this builds rapport, understanding the needs and wants, and can help identify issues and concerns. Section 4, selling those solutions. So looking at the features, the added advantages and the benefits. And number 5, closing with commitment, getting commitment to the next action to move the process forward, almost like a call to action. And again, encompassing all of those are the objections. So how do we deal with those concerns? How do we convince, negotiate, and ensure the conversation remains purposeful but not transactional? Next slide, please. Thank you. I'm going to share a good news story that I hope that will help illustrate the benefits of effective employer engagement. And this is taken from a participant that's been supported on our IPS in primary care service in North Central London. So Aisha joined IPS while managing anxiety and low confidence, but wanted to work with young people. Her employment specialist had already built trust with a local secondary school through regular meetings with HR and Senco, discussing reasonable adjustments, explaining the IPS model, and attending staff briefings to show how IPS could support both recruitment and retention. Because of this groundwork, the school felt confident to offer Aisha a working interview as soon as she was ready. With discreet job coaching and open communication, she settled very, very quickly into the learning support assistant role, becoming known for her calm, empathetic, approach with pupils. Her success strengthened the school's confidence in IPS, leading to ongoing collaborations, repeat referrals, and a shared commitment to inclusive employment. The employer gained a reliable team member, and Aisha regained stability, purpose, and belief in her abilities. And just to close, I think it's important to remember the end goal here, and that's to source competitive, meaningful, and sustainable employment for our participants. In my opinion, I believe this is one of the most rewarding aspects of IPS. When you start to look at the measurable impact it starts having on the participants that we serve. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for that. That's really, really impressive. And now I'm delighted to welcome Abigail and Emma from our other delivery partner working. And I think Abigail and Emma are going to talk a bit about in-work support and job coaching. So they are from Essex Cares Limited, working with participants and employers. Thank you both.
Thank you, Hannah. So when it comes to participant support, we have consultants who provide regular one-to-one check-ins, and what this would look like is ensuring that each participant receive person-centered guidance. So it includes CV writing, for instance, interview preparation, vocational profiling, job searching, wellbeing check-ins, and much more. Part of our participant support also includes job coaching. And this helps prepare each participant for the role that they are expected to move into. So throughout the process, we aim to identify any reasonable adjustment that may be needed. So for example, creating an easy read document to help them complete and understand right to work paperwork, which is very essential for the recruitment process into paid employment. So we also help participants build a positive professional relationship with their co-workers, so that ensures a smooth handover of support into the workplace. But overall, the aim is basically to boost each participant's confidence and their skills, preparing them for sustainable employment. On to the next slide, please, Hannah. We would now like to introduce William Grice, which is one of our well-known case studies here at ECL. Thank you.
Thanks, Abigail. So William is a classic example of somebody where the interview process was slightly changed. He was introduced to the hiring manager over MS Teams, and there was a really positive conversation about his skill set and what he was able to do, along with some of his background. As a result of that MS Teams call, he then had a more informal interview and was successful and was offered a fixed-term contract. William was incredibly anxious to start with about the role and how this would progress. Several kind of months later, we're now into the position where William's been offered a permanent contract and is thriving in paid employment. He says here that he knows that he's got several co-workers that he can rely upon. His managers are really approachable, and that's the relationship that we've built with the employer. And he also knows that he can reach out to ECL should he require further support if needed. Next slide, please. So I guess the employer support aspect is the bit that I'm really passionate about as employer engagement lead. So it's understanding what the business needs are for the employer, and that's really important, and looking at what skill set they're seeking and supporting them through that recruitment process. We can also provide guidance on reasonable adjustments and support with applying for grants, such as access to work. We're really keen to kind of help employers retain good quality staff, so there's longevity there and they stay in the roles for long periods of time. Just a bit of a fun fact here, ECL has achieved an impressive 83% retention rate with one of our partners, the East of England Co-op, and that's a really good reflection of the relationship that we've built with that employer. We also offer free learning disability and autism training to further equip employers and to support their understanding of different aspects of the candidates that we're supporting into roles. And I think ultimately we're really there to help support employers to recruit and retain a diverse workforce that reflects the community that they serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail and Emma. That was really great, and Fantastic to hear more about that, especially around the case study as well. And then finally, I'd like to introduce Liam from ePut, and Liam's going to talk to us around ongoing support that ePut provide to our participants. Thank you, Liam.
Thanks, Hannah, and thank you for having me. So much like the other delivery partners, there's two sides to what we do. We help those that are out of work and looking for employment, and we help those that are currently employed. We provide support to these people, and they do have long-term health conditions, and they could be either seeking that job or they could be struggling with some challenges in their workplace. The aim is to help these people build confidence, overcome their barriers, and sustain meaningful employment in a way that supports their health and well-being. So, in a bit about how the support works, our support is very personalised. It focuses on the individual's needs. It will typically include an initial assessment where we'll go through some goal setting. We'll begin with a one-to-one conversation to understand the person's health condition, their employment history, current challenges and career goals. And together we will identify some strengths and some barriers and realistic next steps. The employment preparation for those looking for work, what we will do is we'll help them craft a CV. We'll help them apply for the jobs and show them the process. We'll then give them interview preparation and confidence building. We'll give them some guidance on suitable roles aligned with their health needs. And we can support accessing training or voluntary opportunities. We're also here to help individuals understand how work may impact their benefits and signpost them to appropriate advice where needed. And we have done this by partnering up well with the DWP and Citizens Advice. Next slide, please. So for the employer's side, as mentioned earlier, we're also here to help people in work and their employers. For those already in employment but struggling, we can advise on managing their health conditions at work. We can support with communicating needs to the employers. We can give guidance on reasonable adjustments. We can give strategies to maintain or manage fatigue or stress within the workplace. And we can also be a mediator and provide support where appropriate. We can also provide information about schemes such as Access to Work, which offer practical and financial support for workplace adjustments. The great thing is the employer engagement side of it, and we can build a great relationship with employers by increasing understanding of long-term health conditions. We can promote the inclusive workplace practices. We can identify reasonable adjustments, and we can support positive return to work plans. The main benefit of this service is we do not stop supporting once someone is in a job. We provide that continued check-in to help individuals sustain their employment, manage any new challenges, and build long-term stability. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Liam. So I really hope that's given everyone a nice flavour of the work that's done and the support available. So for the final part of the session today, we're just going to have some Q&A, and I can see we've got some questions coming through already. So without further ado, I will start. We're going to have a panel of myself and our three delivery partners on the call today. So I think the first question I'm going to ask Emma and Abigail. So how do you match employers with suitable candidates, and what do you need from us as employers to make sure that that match is right?
Okay, thank you. So we match employers and participants by understanding both sides in detail. So understanding what the role requirements are from the employer's perspective and understanding what the skill set is for the candidate. It's really important that we understand the workplace environment and the culture and any specific skills or behaviours that the employers are looking for. And then putting those two pieces together, it's matching those candidates' skills, their strengths, along with the kind of job description from the employer. So I think it's really important when employers are seeking participants that the job descriptions are clear, they're concise, they highlight the essential skills, they kind of explain to us what the workplace culture is like, any hours, adjustments that can be offered, adjustments at the beginning why that person might be staggering. It might be their first steps back into employment. So it's really a mix of understanding the employer and the business needs, and really understanding the fit of the candidate and their skill set and their capabilities.
Thank you, Emma. Really helpful. So if I could ask Liam to answer the next one, please. So what practical support do you offer once a candidate starts with an employer, and how long does that support continue after the hiring process? Thank you.
I think rather than me saying what support I could give, I'll use an example of what I have done in the past with a client.
Great.
For the sake of this, for confidentiality, the client was called John, and John came to us really lacked mobility, physical mobility. We did manage to get John a job role at the M25 Business Centre as a receptionist, and I formed a really good working relationship with John's manager, Ben. And what happened was John was actually really struggling just to get up the stairs to get to his desk because it was on a platform. So what I advised was, because of that working relationship I had with Ben, who has been brilliant as a manager for John, it was just about the practical side of saying, is there any way we could get an accessible ramp put in place just outside the business centre for in place? And Ben kind of looked at me and said, wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. And it was within a week, they just done it and he actioned it and it was brilliant. And yeah, it's just simple practical support and advice like that has been really good.
Brilliant. Thanks, Liam. We've actually, on that similar subject, we've got another question around asking for a real example of how Connect to Work's helped employers in different sectors. So I just wondered if you had any other examples you could share with us at all.
Yeah. I mean, for a couple of months ago, actually, again, I'll use a fake name. I'll use the name Sarah for this client. And Sarah works for a charity, a loneliness charity that supports people within suffering with loneliness. And the manager of this charity actually came to ourselves and said, can we help Sarah in any way? Because Sarah is diagnosed with autism and ADHD and has quite a difficult time communicating her needs and her wants within the workplace. So I am effectively a mediator between the two, and I sit down weekly with, I'll say, Beth, the hiring manager, and Sarah, the client, and we kind of discuss. Just because Sarah doesn't feel comfortable expressing it in her own words, I can be that advocate for her and explain. And it's been really great. It's been effective. In this way, what we've been able to do is when it comes to Teams meetings, we know that Sarah does not want the camera on. It's just simple things like that. Sarah has managed to sustain her job, and Beth has managed to understand for what her employees need.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you. Sounds win all round there, Liam. Excellent. There is a question about that I'll quickly answer. If we're interested in working with Connect to Work, what's the next steps? And I'm going to cover that right at the end, and we can immediately start to communicate with you and engage with you. And we've got some practical steps to do that. So I will just go to the next question. Jonathan, could you answer this, please? So how much does it cost to hire a participant through Connect to Work? And what if we need equipment like an adapted desk, for instance? What's the cost of that?
Okay, thank you. And that's the $1 million question, isn't it? No pun intended. Great question. There's absolutely no cost to the employer whatsoever. And if there is a necessity to provide DSE or any other equipment needed to fulfill their role as part of our in-work support offer, we can source and fund the expense of these items independently. In readiness of work and to help them sustain employment as well. As long as there's an identified need for the request, this is something we can look towards obtaining. We can also support with access to work applications also.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Well, that's very good news. That's very good news. Someone else has asked, Jonathan, if we could stay with you. They've heard that candidates from diverse or disadvantaged backgrounds can sometimes actually show stronger working behaviours and more loyalty. So is that true from your experience? And what have you seen in practice on that point?
Interesting question, bit controversial, but I can only speak from my own experience. I think people from diverse backgrounds they often demonstrate a stronger desire to prove themselves through having that lived experience and ultimately dealing with that stigmatization and prejudice. I've also seen that we see that their appreciation for opportunities, it often encourages a more supportive and collaborative work ethic and working environment. And typically, I think we've seen that career progression. It feels as though, from their perspective, it feels a lot more meaningful. It provides a feeling of a personal connection to their role, which in turn kind of improves or boosts their morale. And sometimes, in a lot of instances, their own purpose in terms of the way in which they undertake the role, and increases their productivity while they're doing so as well. So in short, yes, it's not an exception to the rule, but I can only go off my own experience in that instance.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you so much to all our panel for answering those questions. I know we do have more questions coming in. So we will, in the interest of time, we are going to wrap up now, because we appreciate everyone's time is so precious, and you've given us this slot this afternoon. So thank you for that. But we're going to, if we can have the final slide up, please. We're going to send you out a pack with all of our contact details, with the slides. You can also take a copy of this QR code, and there's a follow-up form that you can send us your details, and we'll leave that up, and then we will be in contact with you very, very soon if you're interested. So register your interest with us through the QR code. We've put our website up there as well, and again, all these slides will come out to you. We will answer all the questions in a pack as well that will come out to you following this webinar. So please don't worry, everything will be attended to. Our email address is there as well, connect2work@essex.gov.uk. If you have any questions, we will follow up all of your contacts. We are really, really keen to work with you all, and whoever is interested. So I'm just going to say thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I hope you found this useful and informative, and also it's piqued your interest. So thank you so much all. Thank you for your time. It's been wonderful to speak to you all this afternoon, and we look forward to speaking with you very soon. Please do contact us. Thank you so much all. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.